Democrats are slowly coming to grips with the idea that Joe Biden is going to lose in 2024. Fingers crossed on that one, right? Donald Trump has been surging among younger voters, among minority voters, among independent voters. He's gaining all of the momentum he needs to be very successful. And of course, he's leading in most of the battleground states. So as this begins to sink in, you start to see more and more stories, more and more news pundits come out and say, yeah, Biden has to change his tactics. Otherwise, it's all over for the Democrats, all right? And one of the people that actually come to the forefront of this has been CNN's Zakaria, and he actually had a very interesting take on this.
I understand that polls are not always accurate, but in general, they have tended to underestimate Donald Trump's support, not overestimate it. Trend lines are not working in Biden's favor. He needs to do something bold and dramatic and reverse these numbers. The one that troubles me the most is on the question of who was the more competent. Joe Biden led Donald Trump by 9 points in 2020, but Trump now leads by 16 points in January 2024. That 25-point shift could be a reflection of people's sense that the president's age is affecting his capacity to govern. And there's very little that Joe Biden can do now to change that perception.
So this reality check, of course, has been a wake-up call for the Harpies over at The View. So before we jump into that, I do want you to please like and comment this video. It helps me beat the YouTube gatekeepers. Let's go ahead and check this out.
You know the question. What do you think?
So I've got to say I agreed with a lot of Zakaria's take, and I want to underscore, I want Trump to lose. So it's important to me 6 months out with this platform that we have to talk about some very real trends in science that Donald Trump may be far stronger than we think he is. It may be hard for us to wrap our heads around. I personally, someone who's testified against him, has talked about how unfit. It's hard to believe that he still has as much support as he does. One thing he talked about was the economy, and I was trying to make sense of this because obviously he left office in 2020. The economy was in free fall, massive unemployment. But what I think it is I think a lot of voters attribute the pre-pandemic economy to Donald Trump. They don't blame him for the global phenomenon that was the pandemic. Joe Biden has objectively achieved a lot on the economy. He did the infrastructure package as well. He has things to brag about. But my problem is this. You did an interview with Aaron Burnett, and he said, actually, you're better off than you think you are. That's a bad message. When people's grocery prices are up by 30%, you're saying, believe me, rather than what your bank account is telling you. He's got 6 months to come up with an inspiring, forward-looking message and get out there and talk about it. And for us, I think it's important. I engage Trump voters, and I don't do it to make them feel shamed or to attack them for where they are, but to talk about what a second term could look like and how dangerous it is. I think that's how we need to be using our voices, and the Biden campaign just has to get more active.
Yes, the Republican on the panel, she wants to do everything she possibly can to stop Donald Trump because obviously Biden is so much better. But she's astounded that people actually look back on the Trump presidency positively because towards the end, everything was in free fall because we recognize that it took an act of government shutdown to derail Trump's economy. People remember the low unemployment, the high job creation, the new businesses, the low prices. That's what people tend to go towards. And of course, she comes out and says, oh, Biden's actually done an awful lot. It just hasn't affected you at all. And that, of course, is what people see, right? They look at their pocketbook, they look at their grocery and gas bills, and they can make that clear comparison. I've hounded this so many times on the channel, but yet for some reason, these leftist elites just don't get it. People are affected by the policies that Joe Biden has enacted. Wake up.
Well, I would say when you say the Biden campaign has to get more active, I actually blame the media slightly. We talked last week a lot about how I don't think people are able to watch this Trump trial 24/7, like all the time. Like it's a still shot, it's a picture of a door, it's all of this stuff. Now, we're talking about we're in a campaign. We should be hearing more. We always say, why don't we hear from the Biden administration? I don't leave that all on the Biden administration's door. The media needs to cover things. For example, abortion is a winning issue for Democrats, women's reproductive health. Vice President Harris did an event last week. I couldn't find any coverage on it. And that's a Democrat's winning stance. I also think that there was an asylum regulation decided on with the border. Everyone has agreed the border's a problem. didn't see any coverage on that because we're busy watching the Donald Trump door not opening.
Before we continue, I do want to mention, what are you going to do with your dollar? Joe Biden, of course, is printing more cash than ever, causing massive inflation and devaluation of our currency. So how can you protect your investments? Well, you can go to Genesis Gold Group and convert your 401k or IRA into a gold-backed retirement account. And of course, you can access them by going to angryteachergold.com or by calling 1-800-200-4653 to take control of your future. Get gold-backed securities, protect your dollar, and get back on the gold standard. And by the way, Genesis Gold Group is a faith-based organization, so you can feel confident that you are not investing in some woke corporation. Now let's get back to it. So clearly, it's all the media's fault. They're just not giving that positive coverage to Joe Biden. And I honestly wish the media would cover Kamala Harris and Joe Biden more, because she cackles all the time and is incredibly unlikable, possibly the only person less liked than Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, of course, comes off as feeble. The man can't even walk around. So it's clearly evident to everyone who's actually paying attention that he should not be president. And of course, she mentions, oh, the winning issue of abortion. So it's true. Democrats do lead on the issue of abortion, but the last polls I saw, only 5% of the people thought that was their top issue. Guess what they care about the most? The border and, of course, inflation. All right, those are the big key issues. And Donald Trump is, of course, killing it with those.
I've been saying, I agree with you. I've been saying from the beginning, I actually think this trial is somewhat helping Donald Trump because it's keeping him off the trail and because we are not focusing on the stupid stuff he says on a daily basis. And that is helping him. On Biden, look, you know, at first it was people saying, we don't like our choices. What else? What third candidate? Well, no third candidate, no knight in shining armor appeared. Now I'm hearing people say, is there a way that in the convention they can change the candidate? That's not going to happen. I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face. I'm going to say it till the day of election. This is a binary choice. This is a binary choice America has between good and evil, between decency and havoc, between indicted in 88 counts and not. I mean, you know, they're both old. If that's what's keeping you at night, you don't up at night, you don't have a choice. They're both old, but only one is an alleged criminal indicted in 88 counts. If this is what you want for America.
So they finally clued into the fact that all of this lawfare against Donald Trump is backfiring. Because guess what? People can see that there is no substance there. So you can talk about all the counts you want, all the indictments, right? All the alleged crimes, but people just aren't seeing it. And the more it's actually being exposed on the media, then yes, the more the truth is actually coming out. And everyone can say, yeah, this is kind of a sham. But I love how she mentions that she's talking to all of her liberal friends and they're like, we got to get rid of Biden. There's got to be some way to get rid of him at the convention. No one is talking like that about Trump. People are actually excited. Trump has solidified his base. And as we've already mentioned, he's expanding his base to minority voters, younger voters, independents, right? All the people the left always claims to own. So yes, where's the enthusiasm? It's with Donald Trump, not with Joe Biden. And it's clear to see why.
I agree with sort of what everyone is saying. I'm concerned, like Alyssa is. You know, when you look at these stats, it's very clear that Biden is actually worse off now 6 months from the election than Obama was and when Bill Clinton was. They had disapproval ratings that were pretty high, but his are even lower, right? So that concerns me. I also agree it's up to the American people. It's not up to the polls. And we are 6 months away. I actually do think that the criminal trial will matter because 71% of Americans have said if he is convicted, I care about it and he should go to jail. Something like 54% of Americans have said if he is convicted, I will not vote for him.
Well,
I think that's very
Don't
important.
cover it 24/7. Just let us know.
But I think that's important, and I think that's why people are paying attention to the trial. But to the Gen Zers, I think the worst thing we can do is tell that generation that they're dumb, that they're misinformed, that they don't know what they're doing. Because I am raising 2 kids, and granted, it's anecdotal. It's just my house because we talk about politics at home. They are very engaged. They know the issues. They research the issues. They source the issues, and they're going to vote. they are not going to vote for Trump. They are not going to vote for a twice indicted, 4 times indicted, twice impeached loser. They are not going to vote for him because they hear their mother saying it all the time.
Well, when you talk about Gen Z, yeah, you don't want to call them stupid. You don't want to call them uninformed. But you know what? They are actually experiencing a world right now where they see no possible way to own a home. Inflation is just basically driving them out of the markets. They're not seeing a positive future. They just see themselves as worker bees for the rest of their life, renting apartments and not getting anywhere, not able to do anything, and escaping, of course, into their phones and into their electronics, okay? So this is the bleak future the left has set up for them. And it's what they're seeing right now under Joe Biden. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and as usual, stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.